Everton 2, Liverpool 0. Disastrous result, disastrous performance, and it all but ends any title hopes right there, unless we have a dramatic collapse from City and Arsenal, which on current form doesn't look very likely. So let's talk about the game from the beginning. By the way, before I get into this video, it's not going to be pretty what I talk about here. I'm not going to pull any punches. So if you don't want to hear heartfelt, honest review of what I just saw, then don't bother watching, because I'm not going to pull any punches here. The starting 11, I was okay with most of it. We had no choice up front because we only had 3 fit forwards. I mean, Gakpo was out because his partner's gone to labour and Jota injured again. And the worry was that Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez especially have been so far off it that could they turn up today? And we'll get into that in a little bit. The midfield, I don't know why Curtis Jones was picked. He's a Scouser, so it's in here. You know, you expect the fight and the passion. If you got Scousers in the team, I don't know if that was the thinking. The other surprise really was to have McAllister pushed back into the number 6 role, where he's not as effective, and Dominic Szoboszlai was given the nod as well, and he's not been in particularly good form. But I suppose I look at Szoboszlai, McAllister as potentially big game players, so I was okay with them being picked. I wasn't okay with Curtis Jones being picked, but that's just me. And then in defence, I understood why he put Konate in over Kwanzaa, but it backfired quite spectacularly, that one. So let's talk about the game. So the first half, Everton won every single 50-50 ball in that first 30 minutes of that half. Every single one. They were slamming into tackles. We were wimping out of tackles. Everton had more heart, more fight, more determination. They showed more character. They won every single ball from a set piece. Every one. You know, it's 50-50, innit? And in most games, the defensive side of the game wins out from set pieces, because you've got your dominant centre halves, and all you've got to do is clear it. They couldn't. They lost every single one. And for 30 minutes, this Liverpool team looked like a team which just didn't have the heart, didn't have the fight, showed no aggression, seemed to be overwhelmed by it all. And you shouldn't ever go into a Merseyside derby feeling overwhelmed by the atmosphere at Goodison and what to expect, because you know what to expect. It's very, very obvious what they're going to do. They're gonna try and outfight you, and they're going to try and hit you with set pieces. That's it. That's the whole game plan against the team in ourselves who are far superior team to them. But you're only superior in any game if you put it in with this, if you put in the heart and the fight and the effort, and you go there with a will to win. And I didn't see it at all. So we have calamitous defending more than once. They scored 1 goal that was ruled off for offside. They had another couple of free headers that they put wide, and then they got the breaks. McAllister whiffs at the ball, it breaks to Brantwaite, and he manages to sneak it in. For the last 7 or 8 minutes of the first half, we finally looked like a team. I mean, I don't know why that was. Maybe it was because we got it together, but I think it was more Everton had put so much into the first 35 minutes that they couldn't keep it up for the last 10 minutes. So we had gilt-edged chances. Darwin Núñez, the whole goal to Aima, and he blasted it at Pickford. We've seen it time and time and time again, and he doesn't improve. Luis Diaz does exactly the same. His was a bit more difficult, but he's still, with a better finish, he gets us to 1-1. Mo Salah snatched at Everton all night. So at half time, deservedly 1-0 down, and now what you'd expect is that we will come out and we will fight. Everton are 1 up. They don't score many goals. They're not going to come at you and try to outplay you. They're just going to sit in and dig in. And that's how it started. The second half started just like that. No changes from Klopp. Probably, in his time at Liverpool has been one of his Achilles heels of not changing it when it's clearly going wrong. Allowing the same players who've put in such a lacklustre effort to come out for the second half, and nothing changed. They got the fourth best defence in the league, Everton. So it's hard to score against them, and with the misfiring trio that we've got up front right now, it wasn't looking likely. Luis Diaz hit the post, but by then we were 2-0 down. The second goal, another set piece, and another free header for Calvert-Lewin. Now, you could complain that Everton were blocking off players and getting in the way of players, and Virgil van Dijk spent the whole bleeding game complaining about that. Well, get over it. You know what they're going to do. And they just did it with ease. And they just bullied us from every single set piece. Virgil and Konate were absolutely second best at everything that Everton threw at them. So anyway, Everton scored the second. We threw the towel in. A Liverpool team going for the title. 2-0 down with still 20-25 minutes to go. Gave up. I don't even know what to say about that, other than that's completely and utterly unacceptable. You give up against Everton while you're trying to win a title. So I want to finish by dissecting the performance and talking about a few players, because we've now got to look towards next season. The defence. This is a defence now that no matter who we put there can see goals. I think that was, what is it now, one clean sheet in 15. We gave away 2 today. Could have been 3, could have been 4. And that was our first choice back 5. Over recent months, the form of Konate has been absolutely alarming. The lad has regressed this season. He was bullied, he was outfought. He always gets too close to players. I've talked about this before. And so Everton just backing into him, letting him foul. Yeah, go ahead, we'll have another foul there. Easy. Virgil van Dijk. I've defended Virgil against a few people lately who've been calling into question his leadership. But he didn't show any today, did he? He spent the whole game yelling at the referee, flailing his arms, complaining about Everton's tactics. And they were just tactics, Virgil. That's what they do. You should have been one step ahead of them, not one step behind. Anyway, onto the midfield. All 3 of them, lightweight. I don't know how many times I've said the word bullied, but they were bullied. McAllister kept losing the ball in the first half, too slow. Szoboszlai has gone from looking like the next great midfielder to, is he good enough to start? All in the space of a few months. And once again, completely and utterly ineffective. Curtis Jones, absolutely anonymous. Did nothing in the entirety of the first half. And he was subbed. So since he's come back, he's been in every game, exceptionally poor. And yet Jürgen has kept picking him. So I can't explain it. Absolutely not good enough. The forwards, I'm going to give one pass of the day in terms of how all 11 played to Luis Diaz, because that lad never stops trying, and he tried again today, and he did almost break the deadlock a couple of times. He did have the one saved by Pickford. He did have the one that was a great effort that hit the post, and he's the only one in the entire team today that I would say was worthy. Mo Salah, I don't know what's gone on here, because this just can't be just an injury. I don't know whether it's something going on in the background, something to do with his contract, something to do with does he know he's being sold? Has he been told something that he's not got a spot next season? I don't even know if there's any rumours about that, but something's not right. He did not look in the slightest bit interested, and he hasn't looked interested these last few games. The second half, 1-0 down, Everton get an injury and they have to bring on Ashley Young to face Mo Salah. Now, Ashley Young proved against Notts Forest that he's miles off it. He doesn't have the pace, and Mo Salah did not give him a single thing to do. He just ambled around the pitch and did nothing of any note. It was an awful performance from him, and I never thought I would ever see the day where I'm talking about Mo Salah in these terms. So on to the third. I'm going to just say it, right? As someone who's watched football for decades, and as someone who actually played as a striker myself, he's nowhere near good enough. He just doesn't have what it takes to perform as a striker at the top level. He doesn't know when to run. How many times has he caught offside? Wasn't caught offside much today because Everton were well back, but when teams play a line, he's always caught offside. He whiffs at shots. He blasts shots almost exclusively when he should be passing them into the net. He's not good. He's got no guile. It's headless chicken forward play. You can look at a player and you can watch them progress, and you can say, yeah, he was raw, but there are really, really good signs that he's listening to the coaches and he's refining his game, and I don't see any of it. I don't see any of it from him at all. So, what next? What happens from here? We're losing the manager, and we don't know who we're going to get. So there's one massive, great big question mark, and the ones that were apparently first and second choice are not coming. So I don't know this fella who's being linked, who's the favourite now. Don't know anything about him. So that's a massive question mark. But at the same time, we started the season with what we believed were 5 top class, including world class forwards. Jota's injury prone. Gakpo's been hit and miss for the last few months. Diaz has got a very, very low percentage rate of finishing chances. Mo Salah looks like he believes his Liverpool time might be over, or that's what it looks like to me. And I've just talked about Darwin Núñez. So what do we do with them in midfield? Are we going to compete without severe investment? We thought that Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Endo, McAllister, Jones were all gelling really well, and Elliott as well, all gelling really well, forging a really top midfield. But again, as time has gone by, Szoboszlai's form has fallen off a cliff. Jones was playing at a good level before injury, but since he's come back, He's reverted to the Curtis Jones of a couple of seasons ago. Endo is going to be another year older, and he was already, I think, the oldest in the squad. He certainly was in midfield. So you're looking at Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister. There's going to need to be investments, isn't there? There's going to have to be investments. The back line, I don't know where we go with that. In a team where the back line is conceding goals at the rate and giving up chances at the rate that this back line is, there's again serious concerns. On the positive side, and I'm going to finish on a positive, we've got the likes of Kwanzaa and Kelleher and Conor Bradley, and we've got Dan's coming through, and we've got a lot of good youngsters coming through. So the future is bright in terms of the players coming from the academy, but the worrying thing is what do we do with the current crop that currently make up the first 11 plus substitutes, because they have now given the new manager an awful lot of decisions to make with the performances that we've had over the course of the last month, and especially the performances against Crystal Palace, Atalanta in the home game, and possibly the worst of all today. Anyway, I'm sorry for the negativity, but what do you do when you watch a performance like that from our lads in red, other than call it out for what it is? And it was absolutely shocking. But you know what? We'll always support you. The club will do the right thing. Let's still try and win the season with 4 wins, see where it takes us, and you never walk alone. Cheers, bye.